Grim Jim laughed and laughed. Goodbye, you little blue engine. You're on your own now. I don't know who you are, but Murdoch would never do that to me. And Grim Jim puffed away. At the diesel yard, Diesel and Dart were in the sheds. Suddenly, Grim Jim puffed in. Hello, Diesels. Murdoch, said Dart. What are you doing here? Oh, and why does your voice sound like that? Diesel was worried as well. Oh, I'm not Murdoch. Yes, you are. Not anymore, I'm not. My real name is Grim Jim. You're not Grim Jim, grumbled Diesel. Oh, yes, I am. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to take over this railway. Then, the Fat Controller arrived and he was cross. Murdoch, you have a lot of explaining to do. The Fat Controller spoke severely to him. Murdoch, what's this I hear about you chasing Thomas? You were saying nasty things, and you chased after Thomas and pushed him off the rails. That is not like you, Murdoch. I would have known better from you. Oh, get lost, fat man. I beg your pardon. This has nothing to do with you, so just bugger off, okay? And go stuff your face with macas. Murdoch, I'm very surprised with you. You've become a nasty engine. I would have known better from you. Oh, go away. Get stuffed, you fat ugly man. That's it, Murdoch. If you're going to keep talking like that, I'm going to replace you with a diesel. Oh, no, you're not. Yes, I am, Murdoch. And then it happened. Oh, and by the way, I'm not Murdoch. Then it happened. The engine turned back into his normal self. I am not Murdoch. I am Grim Jim. The Fat Controller got a nasty fright. Oh my God! What have you done with Murdoch? Murdoch is in the underworld. I'm gonna keep him there forever. He's gonna become a demon like I am. And together we're gonna take over your railway. No, you can't. Oh, yes, I can. And I'm gonna turn every one of your engines into slaves. And together, this railway will not be the island of Sodor. We're going to call this railway the island of the underworld. You won't get away with this. Oh, yes, I will, Sir Topham Hatt. Now, if you excuse me, I've got some evil things to do. Bye-bye. And Grim Jim puffed out of the shed. The Fat Controller was horrified. I got to do something about this, he went. The Fat Controller spoke to Diesel and Dart. Did you two see that? We saw, sir. That wasn't Murdoch. That was a ghost engine. Oh, dizzy Diesels. He's coming to take over our railway. Dart was frightened. I'd rather stay in the shed where it's safe. Dart, come out of there, said the Fat Controller. No, thank you, sir. Come on, Dart. Don't be a coward. Oh, all right. Meanwhile, back in the other universe, there was a diesel in a siding. He was all sad and lonely. Then, Murdoch puffed in to see him. Murdoch felt very sorry for the poor diesel. Hello, said Murdoch. What's your name? I'm Frank, went the diesel. What's your name? Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Murdoch. What brings you here? Oh, it was horrible. I got kidnapped by an evil engine. An evil engine named Grim Jim. How many engines has he kidnapped? Quite a few. That's horrible. Frank was a sad diesel. How did you end up here? Where did you come from? Well, I came from another railway where there were only diesels. I wanted to be friends with steam engines as well. I'm a very friendly diesel, you see. Until one night I got visited by that Grim Jim engine. He dragged me out of my shed and took me to his universe. He said I'd make new friends here. He said I could be friends with other steam engines, but he lied to me. He just kept me here as his prisoner. That's horrible. Then Murdoch had an idea. Listen, Frank, I'm going to help you escape from this railway. Why don't you come live on our railway? What's your railway like? Oh, it's really good. There are lots of steam engines on our railway, and you could be friends with all of them. Really? Yes, it's true. Oh, thank you, Murdoch. That's all right. But don't worry. We'll figure out how to capture this Grim Jim engine. I wish there was a way to get rid of Grim Jim. So do I. And suddenly, Murdoch came up with something. Listen, Frank, how about you leave this railway and I'll stay here? What? Look, I'm an old steam engine and I'm out of date, so I think it's about time I came to an end. You're going to sacrifice yourself? Murdoch, no! I have to, Frank. It's the only way I can save you. Anyway, go to the station and you'll meet a Great Western engine named Duck. He'll help you get out of here. At 12 o'clock at midnight, the portal's gonna open. And when the portal opens, it'll be your ticket to freedom. Oh, thank you, Murdoch. And Frank dieseled away. Duck was at the station waiting for Murdoch. Then an engine arrived, but it wasn't Murdoch. Frank puffed up to him. Hello, Duck. Who are you, and how do you know my name? I'm Frank. Murdoch's been telling me all about you. Anyway, he says that you two know a ticket to freedom. We do. Then let's get out of here then. Wait a minute, went Duck. What about Murdoch? Murdoch said he'd rather stay here. Why? He said that if he stayed here, he could defeat Grim Jim and save our railway. He's sacrificing himself for me. Duck was horrified. I never thought I'd say this, but Murdoch shouldn't do that. He should come with us. I know. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's quickly get out of here. All right. Then the portal was open. Frank and Duck went right through it. And in no time at all, they were back in their own universe. Duck and Frank were back in the other universe, but they were very sad about Murdoch. The next day, Murdoch was back in his own universe. The Wizard of Sodor took him back to the engine shed. There you are, Murdoch. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. Thank you for bringing me home. That's all right. It was very kind of you to sacrifice yourself for that diesel engine. But the Fat Controller still needs a big engine like you, Murdoch, so I thought it would be best if I took you back to your universe. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. That's all right, and as soon as I find that Grim Jim engine, I'm going to lock him up in the underworld, where he won't escape from prison. Oh, that's good. And I'll make sure that he never gets out. All right then. At the station, Thomas was glad to be back on the rails again. He was all fixed and mended. Suddenly, Grim Jim arrived. Well, well, well. I see you're back to normal, you blue bugger. I'm gonna take you to the scrapyards. You're coming with me. No, leave me alone. Too bad, you've got no one to protect you. You wuss. Leave that engine alone. Huh? Who said that? Then he arrived. It was the Wizard of Sodor. Then the Wizard of Sodor walked up to Grim Jim. I captured you at last. You nasty engine. Oh my god, who are you? I am the Wizard of Sodor. I've been hearing lots of nasty things about you, Grim Jim. Up to no good. I'm gonna take you back to our universe and I'm gonna lock you up where you'll never escape. Oh, I'll be back. And once I escape from that underground prison, I'll definitely be back to haunt the railway. You haven't seen the last of me. I'll be back for revenge. So, the wizard took Grim Jim away. And Grim Jim was gone. At the shed, the Fat Controller's railway was back to the way it was. Then the Fat Controller spoke to Murdoch. Murdoch, you're back! How did you escape from the other universe? It was the Wizard of Sodor, sir. He found me and he brought me back here. Oh, Murdoch, I'm so glad to see you. I'm glad you're all right. And who's this, Murdoch? Sir, this is Frank. I found him in the underworld. That nasty Grim Jim engine kidnapped him, and Duck and I rescued him. Pleased to meet you, Frank. The Fat Controller liked the look of him. You know, I've always wanted another diesel on this railway. Frank was telling the Fat Controller he had never had steam engines as friends before. It's true, sir. Well, you're in luck, Frank. We've got lots of steam engines on this railway, and they would all like to be your friends. Welcome to the railway, Frank, said Thomas. Thank you very much. Anyway, I just hope that Grim Jim engine doesn't return. Don't worry, laughed the Fat Controller. I'm sure that Grim Jim engine will be gone for good. That Wizard of Sodor must have kept him locked away forever. You know, I've never met the Wizard of Sodor, asked the Fat Controller. How come, sir? Because he's invisible. But the Wizard of Sodor did save our railway, and I want to thank him. The Fat Controller was very happy. Frank, you're a credit to the railway. All the Fat Controller's engines were pleased to have a new friend. Meanwhile, back in the underworld, Grim Jim was in an underground prison. His eyes were red. I will escape from this prison. I'll be back on Halloween, and I'll definitely take over this railway. You engines haven't seen the last of me.